How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Staying Focused for Jesus. Hope each and every one of you are having a blessed day in the Lord Jesus Christ, as always. Y'all bear with me a little while. I know the lighting is kind of terrible in here, but hey, you know what I look like. You know what I sound like. So hopefully you are here for what I have to say and not so much for my looks. Rather, you find me handsomely attractive, or that Negro is ugly. Hopefully you're here for the words, what I have to say. I'm going to make a sermon on this, but I had to get this out. I had to get this out. God's wife. God's wife. When I went on TikTok, I kept on seeing that pop up. It seems to be a big topic right now for whatever reason. At least on TikTok. I don't know if it's everywhere else, but it was irritating me. It was irritating the crap out of me. And y'all know, a lot of time when I present something, y'all excuse the background noise, somebody's obviously cutting grass. That's right there. Somebody just bought the house across the street, so they're trying to spruce it up before they move in. Y'all know when I preach things from a different perspective. We're gonna say that. I try to continue to preach things from a perspective where it doesn't leave any room for somebody to come in and say something. So if they do say something, then they're going to look real stupid. I do that by making things so plain. It's like, what you going to do with that? Like, what are you going to do? You can't do nothing with that. Because it's so plain. Like I said, I got a sermon coming on this. I actually got the notes right up right now. Got the notes up right now. But I'm working on like three or four sermons at one time. Getting the notes and everything together, because I like to get my notes together. And then once I get my notes together, then all I gotta do is record a sermon. And I'm probably still behind, but I'm catching up. That's why some of them you're seeing, like I told you, I recorded 5 months ago. I think one I dropped recently was recorded 9 months ago. And then the one I dropped yesterday, I said it was 2 videos ago, but it's because I dropped that one before the one that's going to release, I think for you would be Monday. Because this video will be uploaded probably Tuesday. So I'm speaking in the future. Just trying to show it from that perspective. And here's my thing on the whole thing. What if God did have a wife? What if specifically Asherah was his wife? Let's go with that notion. Oh, the Bible tried to keep it from us. Because the Bible doesn't go into detail about God's wife, quote unquote, God's wife, Asherah, who we ain't supposed to be worshiping. That means that they're trying to keep something from us. Maybe if she was his wife, she and his wife no more, because she was trying to be bigger than him. And so he divorced her ass. Because that was if she is his wife or was his wife, that was she would have been an ass, a dummy, a donkey. You see what I'm saying? Okay, what if God did have a wife? He divorced her. And it's hypocritical with the divorce rate of America. Like y'all worried about if God had a wife and he divorced her. Because the Bible don't go into detail about her, like, yeah, this is my wife and everything. He don't. If he divorced her, she, oh my God. And people latch on to this like it's the milk of the Queen of Heaven, Asherah. I get it, but I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it. And it's frustrating. It is frustrating at times because we are literally living in a world of idiocracy. Guess what? Kelson King, before he got married, he had a fiance. Yes. At one point in time, I was engaged to another female before I even met my now wife. Some people know that, some people don't. If I mention it, I mention it. If I don't, who cares? Oh, you had an ex-fiance and you ain't tell us? You ain't tell us that you had an ex-fiance, man? And you got a whole wife over here with 2 children, and you didn't tell us that you had an ex-fiance. She's an ex-fiance for a reason. So I'm not studying her like that. I got a whole wife, 2 whole children. I got a whole family that I'm concerned with and focused on. Not my ex-fiance. If I have a concern for my ex-fiance, it's for a soul. Like, I wonder if she's doing the same thing. Because the reason that we didn't get married is because I got saved. The Lord showed her who I was going to be before he even showed me. As God is my witness. The Lord showed her the man that I was going to be, the pastor, and the things I was going to be doing before he even showed me. And when he showed her that, what he was doing was he was giving her a chance. He was testing her. At this particular point in time, I did not accept the title of pastor, prophet, none of those things. I'm just a man saved by the grace of God, giving my testimony. But God kept on establishing it in the mouth of many people. Oh, you sound like a pastor. You sound like a pastor. You're gonna be a pastor. You're gonna be a pastor. No, I'm not. Nope. Oh, you sound like a prophet. You got the gift of prophecy. You're gonna be a prophet. You're gonna be a prophet. You're a prophet. No, I'm not. Until eventually, as the word says, the gifts and callings of God are without repentance. You can't run from it. Now I sit in the office with joy and honor. So God showed her who I was going to be before I even knew who I was going to be. Giving her a choice. We didn't get married. Y'all, excuse my back itching. We didn't get married because I chose. I'm chilling, y'all. I'm at my house. I'm chilling. Y'all roll with me. Because I chose the Lord and she chose the world. As simple as that. I chose the Lord. She chose the world. She was not ready, and she did not want to deal with the things that I was going to be doing as a pastor, as a preacher. And the reason is she knew, still knows, how I am. The way y'all see me today, I was like this back then. What happened was, start to, feel myself. hey, you're a pretty good looking dude. You know, that's when I told y'all everything on point. You wouldn't catch me without no haircut. Everything on point. Body on point. Everything. I'm working out. That's when I was working out all them times I was telling you I was working out. Have my money coming in, have my whip and everything. And then the crazy thing is when I realized that, dang, I'm pulling chicks and I'm busted. When I had on like work clothes and stuff like that. When I wasn't in my vehicle or whatever, I was still pulling chicks. Cause I wasn't ever doing the car stuff for the women. That was always something that I just enjoyed doing. So like you said, you feeling yourself like, man, shoot. Everybody has that peak where it's like nothing can really stop you. It's just flowing. And then right after that, that's when I was humbled by God. And I got saved. So my ex-fiance knew what I was capable of and what type of person I was. She understood my drive. Because we had been together for, at that time, what was it, three years or something like that? And this was the first woman that I had been with in my lifetime. And I've been with not saying it proudly, but just being real, I've been with my share of women, from the hood chick all the way up to the chicks that you seen on TV. Yes, I've been with models. It may not seem like it because the way you see me today, but once you understand the game and everything, man, I don't consider myself me personally, I don't consider myself an ugly dude. I don't see myself as good looking as I used to be, but I mean, it is what it is. I don't really focus too much on that, but at the same time, vanity is vanity. I was using that to my advantage. That's the point I'm making. Because I understood, like, oh, okay. You chicks just ain't coming just to come. And when I was doing sexual stuff, I had no business. What we call fornication. I aimed to please. And some of you know that story of how I got the way that I was when it came to sex, when I was having sex when I shouldn't have been having sex, meaning fornicating. And for those who don't know, I'll go ahead and tell you the story real fast. It goes all the way back to high school. That's why words are so powerful. I was pretty quiet in high school. You could say I was like a nerd. I had a big old afro. And the girls used to put their hand in my afro because my afro would pop back in place like a memory pillow. But there's only certain girls I would let do it. Like one chick, her name was Marsha. And every day in class, I was in FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America. We walk in class, she come to the door, and I would stand there and she would put her hand in my head and then take it out, and then it would literally go back in place. And she was just fascinated with that. I was known for my afro. Yeah, Kelson, yeah, this dude, the biggest afro in the school, probably in the city at that time. I was at lunch, and I was sitting next to, we say, the hot girls, the popular girls. And they was talking about dudes. They were talking about the dudes they had slept with and everything, and how it was and stuff like that. And I'm hearing it all. And they like, oh, they going in. He was whack and this and that. And the way they were going in on them, it was like, hey, I ain't gonna let that be me. I ain't gonna never let that be me or whatnot. So because of the conversation I had heard them having, that planted a seed in me. Like, man, these are chicks that the chicks that all the dudes want to be with. They saying this. Now this time I wasn't getting no play. I think I didn't start getting no let's say play until like 11th, 12th grade because I wasn't focused on that. I was education, A's and B's, principal list, and who's and honor roll and all. That was me right there because that's what my parents had me. But 11th, 12th grade, you start feeling yourself and everything, and that's when I started getting my play and everything, and just grew like, okay, shoot, I'm knocking down chicks. They don't even know I'm knocking them down. I'm knocking down all the hot chicks. They don't know I'm knocking down. Then they don't even want to deal with the popular dudes because shoot, I'm doing my thing because I didn't heard that conversation. So when I'm going in this thing to have sex, to fornicate, I'm going in like with that mindset, like, look, they ain't finna talk bad about me. Oh no, no sir, not finna happen. And even if I did say slack up, like my performance wasn't where I wanted to be, I would literally take that to heart, like, dang man, dang. And I would go do research and I was like, what's wrong? You know what I'm saying? And I would prep myself like, okay, I'm finna bounce back. So I would prepare myself with my hand, to go ahead and get the first few out the way. I was like, okay, if I get the first few out the way, then I would time it because I would know when I'm going to be over there. Like, okay, I'm going to be there some time. So I knew my body. I need this amount of time to recover because I don't want to go over there and then I don't get back, get back right because I didn't, shot two out the chamber. That's how I was. I've always been like that. Everything has been strategic and about business. So then when I go in there and I do my thing, whatnot, I'm bouncing back. If I slap the first time, I'm bouncing back. And hey, you ain't finna talk bad about me. Oh no. All because of that conversation that I heard those females had. As God is my witness. As God is my witness. What they said, their words stuck with me all the way pretty much up to, you can say today, but obviously I'm not here tricking around. But you get my point. What happened was, and I didn't realize at the time, the enemy was manipulating the gift that God had given me for me to do those things. Because that drive has always been in me. Rather, it lay dormant. I'm just like, man, I'm chilling. I'm good. I'm straight. That's why, it's like, how I explain it. It's like I can wake up, I can be, let's say, I don't really be lazy, but let's say I'm being lazy. I'm chilling, just chilling for a week. For a lot of people, they got to get back in the groove, but for me, it's just like I can chill for a week and then pick it up like I never chilled. That's the best way I can explain it. And some of you understand that, and some of you may not. My ex-fiance, she understood this. She understood that if he is the way that he is now when it comes to general things, even with her, she knew how I was. When I say when I love hard. Oh yeah, you gonna get all of me. I'm gonna love you. She understood that. If he is the way he is now, like this, then I already know how he's gonna be when it comes to Christ. And even though my ex-fiance, I don't think she's saved yet, she probably would say that I don't know what she would say. I don't know. Right? Even if we're gonna say she ain't saved, because I don't know. Even with her not being saved, she didn't play around. At that particular point in time, she wasn't saved, so we can say that. She didn't play around when it came to the Lord. She may have played around, in other stuff, fornicating and stuff like that. When it came to the word of God and reading it and everything, oh, she didn't play about that. Now, make sure I'm trying to get the whole story together so you can get everything I'm understanding. But this may seem like random, but it's not random. It all ties into my testimony. There was an incident, and this was like the last time. This was like as we say, the straw that broke the camel's back. She knew I was done. I'm done. I'm not going back and forth with you. I'm out. I'm going to serve the Lord. And she knew that. She came to me on the phone, and she told me a story. How the Lord had told her that I was her husband. And she was in the shower crying because she knew that I was done, and I'm out. I'm leaving. We're done. Ain't no more going back and forth. We are finished. And she tried to accuse God. Lord, God, you said that was my husband, and now he leaving. You promised me this was my husband. I'm like, okay. I didn't believe at the time completely, but I listened. And then what she said next, I knew the Lord had spoke to her. Because I'm thinking like, well, I don't know if the Lord told you that because I'm out. We ain't getting married because I'm going to serve the Lord. And you ain't willing to serve the Lord 100%, I'm out. But the next thing she said, I'm like, the Lord did tell you that. The Lord responded to her, yes, I did say that was your husband. Yes, I did promise you that this was your husband. But he belongs to me. You cannot have him unless you come to me, because he now belongs to me. He belonged to me from the beginning. But now he really belongs to me. I have redeemed him back. And he's going to be used, which he already knew, for the purposes that I have called him for. So if you want him, because he is in me, then you must abide in me for you to have him as your husband. That is the fulfillment of the promise. And when she said that, I knew the Lord, yep, I believed her then. Because it's the same thing today. We have the promises, but we don't receive the promises unless we are in him, unless we are in obedience. You see what I'm saying? All of it ties together. Now, we may not necessarily see it right then, but if we pay attention and we abide in him like we're supposed to, he'll give us the revelations. And then you'll sit back, you'll be like, oh my God. Inside joke for those who know. That all transpired. Obviously, we go into the future. I'm now married, not married to my ex-fiance. My ex-fiance, she finally had a baby, which is a story in itself. Conceived in fornication. When we was dating, courting, 3+ years, I think it was no protection, bruh. She never got pregnant. I think a few times she may have thought she was pregnant, or maybe had a miscarriage, egg intake, whatnot. I don't know completely. But we never had a baby together. And we wanted one together. Me and my wife, we were married, I think I'm going to say 2 or 3 months. 2 or 3 months into marriage, and my wife, she got pregnant. Now my ex-fiance, how old her child is now? 2? I think something like that, 2, maybe? Child she had now is like 2 years old. And the dude that she had the baby by, yeah, she ain't with him. And even when, back then when I was talking to her, when we had stopped talking, this is before my wife, and she was talking to that dude, I still had love for her. I like, look, that dude ain't no good. Ain't no good. But hey, you can't make her listen. You can't make her listen. And she agreed, but she had a baby by him. Now she pretty much hates him. Loves her child, but she hates him. You should never had a baby by him in the first place. But you didn't want to listen, which is why we ain't married today, because you didn't want to listen. The point I'm making with all this, when I'm telling my story about my life, I'm not bringing up, I had an ex-fiance, or I spoke to this chick or that chick or that chick. I will mention it if I need to in the context of what I'm speaking about. But what sense does it make for me to be talking about my ex-fiance so much more than I'm talking about my wife and my 2 children? I don't have a baby by my ex-fiance. You see what I'm saying? So if God did have a wife, he divorced her, he ain't studying her. Now, he may mention her, go on the notion that God has a wife, right? He divorced her. He may mention her, but God then moved on with his life. God has moved on with his life. He's not focused on her. You see what I'm saying? I'm not focused on her. I'm focused on what I got, which is a blessing. The blessing I got is God saved me. Because you look back on it, like, good Lord, what was I thinking? It seemed good for the time, but when you grow in the knowledge and wisdom and understanding, you like, as we say, you dodged a bullet. Dodge a bullet because the situation would have been worse. Why would it have been worse? Because you would have grew, but the other individual, whether it's a man or a woman, they would have been holding you back. And one thing I can't stand is a disobedient woman. They don't want to listen to all this other stuff. I ain't got nothing for you. I don't like disobedience in general, even within myself. Look, we talking about a woman? Don't want that feminist, modern day feminist stuff. Can't stand that. A woman should be feminine. She should be feminist according to the scriptures, because there's power in that. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Point being, before we close it out, if God did have a wife, he divorced her. Now you can debate, is God's fault or her fault. It don't matter. If he had a wife, they ain't married no more. Ain't nobody studying her no more like that. I had an ex-fiance. I got a wife. I'm happy. I'm good. I'm ecstatic. I'm joyful for the blessing that God led me to. I got 2 children, 2 boys. They're going to be men. I'm straight. I'm straight. So I'm not studying my ex-fiance. She got her life, her child. I got my beautiful boys. I mean, what more you can ask for? I'm just being real. I want no ugly children. And God didn't give me no ugly children. And people get mad. Well, how could you say such a thing? Do you want ugly children? Oh, so it's okay for you not to want ugly children, but if I say I don't want no ugly children, then I'm wrong. I'm just being real. I'm just being real. But I know, being real is too much for some of y'all. Right? Go ahead and say, yeah, you know it is. You know it is. But that's just what it is. That's just what it is. I ain't gonna keep on talking because I can sit here and talk stories and everything for hours, but I want to hold y'all up. Just want to make that point before I drop the actual sermon. If God had a wife, he ain't married to her no more. Who cares if he don't mention her and go into detail about her? It ain't none of your business. Just like it ain't none of your business about my ex-fiance unless I mention it. It's not for you. You were the ex-fiance. You didn't tell us. Bro, ain't nobody studying her. Oh, you want me to, so what you saying, you want me to, what you want me to go back and be with her? You want me to go leave my wife to go be with my ex-fiance? Is that what you want? No. You want God to leave and say he got a new boo thing, new wife, to go be back with his ex-wife? No. No. But with that being said, I'm going to close it out. God bless each and every one of you in Jesus Christ's name. As always, stay focused for Jesus. And as you know, the truth is not debated, it is declared. And hopefully I gave you that perspective like, yeah, it's not really an argument. It's not really an argument.